easy. It's back to the top 5. Alright guys, welcome to another in my long absent series of the top 5 series produced by Dark Easy. So I've done 3 top 5s in my past. I did a top 5 of the top 5 Miyazaki movies, the top 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and then I did a top 5 Harry Potter movies. And for a while I said I was going to do my top 5 Leonardo DiCaprio movies, and I actually watched all of his more dominant movies he was in, and I watched some of his most famous movies he was ever in. And I finished this a while ago. It's just I've been lazy, and I was like, do I really need to do this again? And I'm going to try to make this series more frequently than I have been. I've only had 3 episodes, and the series started back in 2015. So it was 2 years ago. I actually started it like last year around this time, and I've been like, let's actually do this. So as always, as I do my top 5, I would do a little explanation of what a top 5 is in my view. In the top 5, I talk about an actor's career. I talk about how he got into Hollywood. I talk about some of what he's known for, or just anything. This is the first time I'm actually going after an actor instead of like a director or a property. So let's begin. So I have a whole page written of notes. All right. Leonardo DiCaprio was born on November 11th, 1974. He was first known, he was cast in Parenthood. That was his first big role. He was in the 90s. He was also in other films. He broke into films with Critters 3, but he really broke out with the movie What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He starred in that movie with Johnny Depp, and I believe he even got an Oscar nomination for it. I'm not entirely sure on that one. But really, people know him most from Titanic. Titanic's was the movie that really blew him up. That's the one where he really became a superstar. But really, it took after Titanic for Leonardo DiCaprio to really find out who he really was. Leonardo DiCaprio is an actor who, he's not known for these big tentpole franchises like a comic book movie, a Star Wars, even though he was originally cast, or he was in the casting process of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, to play Anakin Skywalker. But we would have gotten a really different Anakin Skywalker, but it still would have been as bad because he would have really still been as whiny as he was, as Hayden Christensen was. He's known working in his he's working in this indie space of movies. He's in movies, he's been directed by some of the best directors of all time, James Cameron, Steven Spielberg, and Martin Scorsese, multiple times with Marty Scorsese. But anyways guys, let's begin with my top 5. So, at number 5 is a little movie known as The Departed.
No! Are you still a cop? No! No! Swear on your mother's grave, you're still not a cop? I am not a fucking cop!
The Departed was a movie that came out back in 2006. It was directed by Martin Scorsese, co-starring Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, and Alec Baldwin. This was the 3rd collaboration between Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese. And this is a different movie for a Scorsese film, mainly because most Scorsese films were set in New York. This one was set in Boston, and it's loosely based off the life of Whitey Bulger. But in this movie, Leo plays a Moe in Costello's gang, played by Jack Nicholson. He's a cop who plays into the gang to try to bring down his criminal empire, or however way you want to look at that. I love this movie. I think Leo does such a great performance in this movie. Just some of the things you see in this movie where he's like so broken, where he's just his life's a mess. He's under so much pressure. I mean, he could die at any moment if his cover is blown. And he does such a great job. His Boston accent does such a really good job in this movie. I really, really love this movie. Be honest with you, this would really be higher on my list, but I don't completely view it as Leonardo DiCaprio's movie because he shares most of the screen time with Matt Damon, and Matt Damon is just as good at it. So they both kind of counteract each other. So if I ever do a Matt Damon top 5, that's going to hurt his placement in this as well. But The Departed is a great number on this list. My number 4 is a movie called Catch Me If You Can.
Well, then tell me this, Barry Allen, Secret Service. How did you know I wouldn't look in your wallet?
The same reason the Yankees always win. Nobody can keep their eyes off the pinstripes.
The Yankees win because they have Mickey Mantle. No one ever bets on the uniform.
Carl?
I'll tell you what I am sure of. You're gonna get caught. One way or another. It's a mathematical fact. It's like Vegas. The house always wins.
Catch Me If You Can. It's a movie starring Leo, Tom Hanks, directed by Steven Spielberg, and it came out back in 2002. This was really the movie that really sold me on. This was the movie in this career of movies when I was watching in my watch through, was where I saw this guy's a good actor, and you can really see that. He plays Leo in this movie. He plays a con man. And he cons the airplanes, he cons the banks, he cons the medical field, lawyers. It's really, really cool to see how much he can do it. And it's really a good cat and mouse between him and Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is trying to catch him, and there's just this great dynamic between the two characters I really, really like. And what I really like about it, it's called Catch Me If You Can. And a lot of it, Leo, is he's running from the authorities, yes, but he's also running away from his personal life and things he has to deal with, realizing he is still just a kid in this movie. And this is a great entry into Leonardo DiCaprio's acting career. I really like Catch Me If You Can. It's deserving at number 4. My number 3 is Inception. This way.
Give him the kick.
What?
Dunk him.
This movie came out back in 2010, directed by Christopher Nolan, co-starring Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, and Cillian Murphy. Now, I said something. This was actually this was the movie that sold me on Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor. I know, because I saw Titanic when I was a kid, and I was like, it's okay. But, I mean, I've gone back, and I really like Titanic. And then I watched Shutter Island, did not like Shutter Island. I was like, I don't like that Leonardo DiCaprio guy. But after watching Inception, I was completely sold on this guy as an actor. I thought he did such a good job in this movie. This is an ensemble cast. It really is. And it's weird putting this high on this list. Multiple reasons for putting it this high on this list. First off, I absolutely love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. And that's right, I can't be a little biased at times, but it is at number 3, and I have 2 more movies that I like a little more. But his performance in this movie, the ensemble cast just enhances Leo's performance in this movie, where you just have the explanation of the dream, the cool sci-fi elements. It's just something different that Leo really never has done before or has since. And I hope he does something similar to this again one day. And then just the music in this movie is great. Christopher Nolan does such a good job directing this movie. It's just one of those movies you just love. And yes, this movie has a defined ending. You just gotta pay attention. This is actually my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movie, but it's not his best performance. My number 2 is another Martin Scorsese movie, and that movie is The Aviator.
Mortgage Tool Co. Every asset. You heard me.
If you do that, you could lose everything.
Well, I won't. I won't.
All right. I'll get into it.
Thanks, no.
Aviator, directed by Martin Scorsese, co-starring Kate Blanchett, Kate Beckinsale, John C. Reilly, and Alec Baldwin. And this movie, I think, really showed how good he really was. Because in Catch Me If You Can, he plays a good act. He plays a character. You're like, okay, but this movie, he becomes the character. That's something you hardly see. I mean, you see Leo, he's worked with some of the great actors, like with Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York. But in this movie, he was so good. He becomes the great Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes is a guy who, I mean, he was the famous of the airplanes and movies and all kinds of other stuff. And the character the guy Howard Hughes had OCD, and in the movie you really saw that, where he had this germaphobe, where he was just scrubbing it really hard, and you're just he's like, I gotta get it out. He's like, way of the future, way of the future, way of the future, way of the future, and it's just such an incredible movie in that sense. And I remember seeing this movie. It's been a while since I've seen it actually, but it's that moment whenever he's watching the airplane movie that he was producing, and they couldn't get it right for some reason. And it's because he has OCD, he wanted everything perfect. And it's what I really, really liked about it. And he just become this character, and it is a great movie. If you've not seen Howard Hughes, it's a great biopic. It's a great movie. Watch The Aviator. And now it's time for the number one. And the number one, it has to be The Wolf of Wall Street.
So you listen to me and you listen well. Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a fucking worthless loser? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich. All you have to do today is pick up that phone and speak the words that I have taught you. And I will make you richer than the most powerful CEO in the United States of fucking America.
I mean, were you expecting anything else? The Wolf of Wall Street is a perfect movie. The movie is 3 hours long. It's a long run time. But the movie flies by. I could have watched 6 hours of this movie because Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie is just so freaking amazing. He's hilarious. This is some of the scenes, the Quaalude scenes alone, the boat sinking down. It's such a great moment in the movie that I just love it. Leonardo DiCaprio, I mean, he's just such a good actor. The comedy was something I didn't really see coming. And it was just such a great moment in this movie. This also, it stars Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, and Matthew McConaughey. They're all good in this movie. Matthew McConaughey's in the movie for 10 minutes, and Jonah Hill gives a great performance as well. The thing is, the character Jordan Belfort is so despicable, but you can't take your eyes off him because he is just that good in this movie. And I can't say more good about this movie, and that's why it has to be the number one of my top 5 Leonardo DiCaprio movies. So guys, that ends my top 5 movies of Leonardo DiCaprio. I want you to comment below, tell me what you think is his best movie or his worst movie. Now, I know I'm going to get some flack for not having, like, The Revenant. I didn't like The Revenant. I'm probably going to get some flack for not putting Titanic in here. I don't think Leo's that good in Titanic. I think that's Kate Winslet's movie more than Leo's movie. It's a very good top. This is my top 5 of Leonardo DiCaprio. So, guys, what's your favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movie? What are your thoughts? Comment below, let me know. Yes, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button, subscribe to see more, and tell your friends about Easy Nation.